All right, I want to get to some reporting over the weekend from Brooke Pryor, beat writer for the Steelers at ESPN, on how Pittsburgh wound up with Justin Fields. Pryor reported that Poles wanted to fulfill his promise to do right by Justin, which we knew. He wanted to send him to a place where he'd have an opportunity to be a starter and reset his career. But the piece that we hadn't really gotten actual confirmation on was in Brooke Pryor's article. Quote, Poles turned down at least one better offer to send Fields to Pittsburgh. Shot or no shot, this is a good move by Ryan Poles.
Yeah, it's a shot. We talked about this a little bit. I know Hoodie and I did. And Michael Wilbon, when I was on the Waddle and Sylvie show, when I think Sylvie was on vacation. I think it was Sylvie on vacation. Maybe it was spring trading. Anyway, he said that people in the league said that was a really, really good move because players around the league are going, well, that Poles guy, the Bears, they're doing things that support their players. And when Justin said, all right, it didn't work, I would like to go there, they acquiesced. Took a little less.
That's a shot.
Absolutely.
But I am curious of who that team was.
The thought is it was the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles were in there. He did not want to go there. He felt like he could beat out Russell Wilson, or Russell's not long-term. He ain't beating out Jalen Hurts. He's not.
So ultimately, take me to a team in which I know I could be the star. I know I could beat that guy versus being with the team.
Well, they made a long-term financial commitment, $200-some million to Jalen Hurts. They got a one-year deal with Russell Wilson. He just thought the situation set up better for him.
I would like to see. I'd like Shay that short list. I'd like to know.
I would bet it was the Eagles. And also, I wonder, like, originally I was really kind of angry if Poles was turning down better offers to move Fields to just a spot where he can have a chance to be a starter. The more I've thought on it, this was probably the right year to do it. We heard from Albert Breer yesterday, the draft falls off a cliff after round 4. NIL is getting more quality players to go back to school and not enter the draft. Ryan Poles said the same thing. Likes the talent that can get to the 9th pick. I think a part of why they've kind of given up on the idea of trading back is this draft is not loaded with talent in the late rounds. Just isn't. The good players went back to school, and they haven't in the past.
I just don't. I mean, the perception is going to be the perception either way, Cap, but just the idea that Poles doesn't know what he's doing. How does he trade Justin Fields for a pick next year, blah, 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 especially late in the draft? It's like, if nothing else, this told you all you need to know about how some teams felt about Justin Fields. Everyone has the same tape. Everyone can see the same thing. No matter how strong that you are as a fan of Justin Fields, nothing beats the tape. Nothing beats it.
Well, if we go back to that story I told you from Vegas, where that one NFL coach said to me, great kid, great athlete, can't play the position. And in the league, you're not going to have the value for him that everyone outside media and fan base think they will. He said, I'm telling you, they're going to move on a year from now. That was March of 23.
Yep.
Everything he told me was right on the money. Everything.
Shay?
All right, the Bears also have an interesting approach to the 9th pick. Poles said when they get back, they are planning on breaking up into teams. He's going to have portions of his staff argue why the Bears should select from each position. So he'll split up one group to look at offensive line, one group to look at edge rusher, one group to look at wide receiver, and then those teams will come back and debate why the Bears need their position the most. Shot or no shot, this is actually a great process.
Shot. I love this. I have not heard of teams doing it. They may have. It's never been publicized like this. I love that we go in a room, no holds barred. We need to take the left tackle. Why? Because we need to be elite at that position. Blah, 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 blah. And Hoodie says, no, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We need to take the wide receiver. And Shay says, no, we need to take the edge rusher. Jay Moore wants a running back.
It appears to me, in my mind, it looks like Around the Horn, hosted by Jeff Joniak. That's what it looks like to me, where you have 4 panelists and 4 sections of the Bears organization debating on who the Bears should take at 9. And so who's Frank Isola in that foursome?
Matt Eberflus.
Okay. And who is, let's see, the guy from Denver, from the Denver Post?
Woody
Page. Yeah, who's Woody Page? Right?
Ian Cunningham.
Okay. And then who is Mina Kimes?
Shane Waldron, both Seattle, Mina Kimes, Shane Waldron coming from Seattle.
And who's Courtney?
Easy.
Who's Kevin Blackistone, or who is Courtney Cronin? What, like, that's what, really?
I feel like Poles is Tony Reale.
Oh, so he's hosting the show.
Yeah, polls awarding points to each person. Whoever
Yes.
ends up with the most points, that's the position you draft.
And so that's why I say it. I mean, it's more than debate. It seems like it's a debate show. Now, ultimately, polls has the final say, but it's good to be able to have different opinions out there. Give us, for our new audience, tell people what Theo Epstein told you about his room.
Oh, he called it a God, what was the term he used?
Just like everything was the same.
He said, I want a situation where you do not have a chain of command if you have an idea. You don't have to go, okay, Shay has a chain of command. He reports to me. I report to Hoodie. Hoodie reports to Jay Moore. And Shay has the idea. And all along the way, the three of us are trying to grab credit. Well, that was my idea. No, actually, it was his idea. No, he said, I want the entry-level intern we hire for the summer. If he has an idea, I want him to be able to knock on my door. Excuse me, Theo. Can I have 2 seconds? Why do we do that way? That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Here's what I'm thinking. He said, I may shoot that idea down, but he said, I also may go, wow, never thought of it that way. He said, when you have people grabbing for credit, those are bad organizations.
And a diversity of thought.
Correct.
And not having everyone that's sent from the same school, same area.
He said, I was sitting in the office one day and I looked around and he goes, I went to Yale, and that guy went to Columbia, and that guy went to Princeton, and that guy went to this. He goes, why does everyone look like me, sound like me, dress like me, act like me? That is not a healthy organization. And he said, diversity of thought gives you a better organization.
No question. So that's how I see it. I see it as around the horn. And then polls decides who's going to win.
Boiler room. That was
Yes.
what he called it, a boiler room.
Shay.
All right, some sort of surprising news yesterday in college basketball as the tournament winds down. Bronny James has entered the transfer portal. He is planning to leave USC. Another big name in the Big Ten, A.J. Storr at Wisconsin, who transferred in this season from St. John's, has also entered the transfer portal. He will transfer a second time in as many years. Shot or no shot, the transfer portal is making it more difficult to be a college sports fan.
That is a shot. That's a shot. Not just a sports fan, but as a college basketball broadcaster as well, Cap. I got to redo the whole thing at UIC. Pretty much. Because the portal, there's many of our kids left. But think about this from a college basketball standpoint. I mean, you think you have your roster set, and then all of a sudden, people are just shooting for the portal thinking that they're going to get the brass ring someplace. And by the way, it used to be, I'm going to leave to increase my chances to win a championship. Not even close. Not even close. Look at the portal and look where some of these guys land. It's trying to get a bigger spotlight, but the championship is way down the line. If it's second, it's a distant second. It's from here to Rockford as far as kids wanting to win a championship. Legacies are out the window when it comes to college athletics as far as the portal is concerned, because some kids would say, I'm going to stay here because I want to be able to leave a legacy. I want my number retired in the Raptors, or I want my jersey retired. When you have the portal, you're not going to have any of those things, and none of those things matter anymore because of the portal. You don't care about legacy at your alma mater, but you do care about the almighty dollar, even more so than anything else. And in this iteration of college sports, Cap, you can do both. You can you can have a legacy and get paid for it if you just stay. But now it's just the payment, and everything else does not matter.
Yeah,
Sad.
that's what Nick Saban told Congress.
Yeah.
He said, my wife would always mentor the mothers and help be around with the kids, and they'd come to the home for breakfast. He said, she came to him, why are we doing this? What do you mean? All they care about is how much money am I getting now? Well, what about developing to try and get an education, get a degree, maybe play in the NFL, and if it doesn't work out, have something? Nah, I'm good. What are you giving me right now? He's like, I'm out. Done.
And because it's college sports, Cap, the student athlete or the athletes are just taking advantage of what the system does not bring. It has no teeth. There is no czar. So you get what you get. If it's just unlimited funds for anybody and you can go wherever you want to go with, like it's the Wild West, then what's an athlete supposed to do? Well, I can't do that because these athletes are individual businesses.
I also believe that it's an unsustainable model. How many times are you going back to the same multimillionaire boosters every year? Every year they're going to give you millions. No chance.
No, it is very difficult. It is difficult to, especially for college basketball, to see how often the portal's used. But again, you can stay at a school and still get paid more times than not if they have a good NIL. I can't say that's the way for everybody, but if you have a sustainable NIL in which you pay players, you can stay and still get paid. But they're looking, it's like a job though. It's like if I can get $100,000 at Michigan, maybe Michigan State or another school can give me $200,000. That's what they're chasing.
But that's what AJ Storr did. AJ Storr got offered $750,000 from Kansas. He said the report yesterday was that AJ Storr went to Kansas asking for $1 million. They offered $750,000, take it or leave it, and Storr said no. That's the point that the sport's at. Look, I don't have a problem with it. I think players should be able to get paid. I think players should be able to have some level of agency. But this idea that you can just transfer every year without repercussion, imagine how difficult it would be to be a fan of your pro team if every player had a 1-year free agency.
Think about that.
Yeah, it would suck.
See? But, hey, the NCAA done it to themselves, Cap. Done it to themselves.
They did. They painted themselves into a corner where they were so obstinate for so long where, dude, I told you I picked up a recruit at O'Hare. Mm-hmm. He flew in from California. It's 20 below outside.
No coat?
No coat. Mm-hmm. He's in a golf shirt. An Izod, I'll never forget, an Izod faded golf shirt. Where's your coat, Bobby? I don't own one. What? Dude, it's snowing here. It's freezing. Me making $4,200 a year, I took my credit card and we went to Burlington Coat Factory. And I get reprimanded. You can't do that. What am I going to do? Let him freeze? Bought him hat, gloves, and a jacket.
It was the right thing to do.
Correct.
But the wrong thing to do in the eyes of the NCAA at the time.
Correct.
See?
You can't do that.
And what athletes are doing,
do it
Cap,
again.
as we get ready for around the NFL, what athletes are doing is what we do. I mean, sometimes for some families, you have to chase the money. And that's exactly what the athlete's doing. They're chasing the money for a better opportunity.
Correct.
And as we've talked about, probably not enough on this show, there are some that live in really lean times at home. Mom and dad is just trying to rub two nickels together, but here's the son or the daughter that has NIL money giving it back to the family.
Correct.
Because they need it.
Correct.
A lot of poor, as you well know.